It's that time. I'm running a couple of minutes late. So if you are joining me, welcome. I'm going to do some housekeeping stuff. I always like to post the link in case you are interested in having your comments on display. And so I'll do that now as I give you all a minute to join. Um, if you want. I hope everybody is having a wonderful week. Time seems to be, and I was just talking about this to one of my clients. Like, it just feels like time is on steroids. I cannot believe that the kids are back in school, my sons are back in school, my grandbabies are back in school. Like, it's just like, it just feels like this was just like May, June when everybody was getting out and graduating. I remember like seeing all the graduation pictures and prom pictures, and now all of a sudden it's all back to school stuff. And so time is moving so very, very fast. And please be aware that our universal time is moving really, really fast as well. And so as I was I think this was in my healing circle on Sunday, I was just telling everybody, like, look, y'all, we don't have time to just be like sitting around here dealing with toxic people, toxic relationships, toxic jobs, all of this trauma, all of like, life is too freaking short. If there is anything that we have hopefully learned, witnessed, is that fact that life is so very short. People are leaving here, young people are leaving here, old people are leaving here, middle age, like, people are getting up on out of here. They are doing the work and they're like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want no more parts of this. And so if you're still here, you're here for a reason and a purpose. And it's time to go about the business of doing that work. I feel that every day. Like, I feel like this need, this calling, I guess you can call it a calling, a need, this energy that is just pushing me to get done, almost to the point of anxiety sometimes, where I feel like it's so much that this planet needs, that this world needs. It's so much work that needs to be done. And so being aligned with your purpose, you have that burning sensation to just, to get your work done, to do your work, to do the healing work, the inner work that you need to do in order to be able to do the outer work. And so, like, I am so passionate about that. That is just crazy. And then with this whole concept of time, which is really non-linear, which really doesn't exist, everything is now. And maybe that's why everything is like so quickly, because it's bringing us into the realization and into the place that everything is now. Like, tomorrow is a blur, the past is gone. So everything is right now, everything is present. What are you doing now? What are you doing now to transform your life? What are you doing now to heal yourself? What are you doing now to heal the people around you, or to assist in the healing of the people around you, to assist in the healing of the planet? Like, what are you doing now? We have got to get out of this. First of all, this scarcity mentality that keeps us stuck in this energy of survival. We got to get about the business of creating. Like, this planet is like in this huge transitionary period. And so if you don't transition, if you don't evolve, if you don't heal, you don't grow, you're going to get left behind. I promise you that. So it's like, yeah, it's like do or die, and not just die from a physical aspect, like die mentally, spiritually, emotionally. So, anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox because none of that was my topic for today. I was just it's just on my heart and my mind this whole thing of time. But welcome. I am back. I am so happy to be back in community, so happy to be back in wellness and wisdom Wednesdays. That has become easier for me to say here lately. I used to struggle with that. But I'm happy to be back in this space. It's been a couple of weeks and I miss you all. So let me just see if I have any people who have joined on the live stream. Most of my viewers do watch the recordings, and I thank you for that. Like, I'm so grateful. Like, when I see, when I go back and I look at the recordings or the comments, and I see how many people who have actually viewed the content, I am really, really, really grateful. And so I'm grateful for anybody that is watching me live. I am grateful if you are watching a recording, and I hope that these messages, these wisdom teachings are of value for you and just are my intention is that again that I'm able to hold this space, but I'm also able to provide wisdom and knowledge and content that will assist you, that will assist you in doing your work, because it's easy for a spiritual teacher or a practitioner to preach and just say, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do. But if you don't even know where to begin, it's difficult. If you don't even know how to access the tools, it's difficult. And so that is why I'm here. I want to provide you the tools. I want to provide you resources. I want to offer you guidance. I want to be your support system as you're navigating this thing called life. And so, anyway, again, let me get off my soapbox and bring and just come full circle to what today's topic is all about. And that is toxic relationships. Yes, I want to talk about toxic relationships. This was something that came to me, I think it was like last week or so. I was doing some other work and I was sitting on my couch, and then spirit was just kind of like, you got to talk about toxic relationships. So many people are dealing with a lot of toxicity around them. And these toxic relationships are primarily people who they love. You know what I'm saying? These aren't like strangers or associates or like, yeah, I can do with this person or do without. A lot of us are experiencing very toxic relationships with some of the people who we are closest to. And so I want to build upon that. I just want to build upon relationships a little bit, period. And I'm not just talking about love relationships or romantic relationships. I'm talking about all relationships, inclusive of the relationship that you have with yourself, because that can be toxic too, believe it or not. It really can. And so tonight's topic is toxic relationships. GTF, get the fuck out of my face. Because that's really how y'all be feeling, right? When you're dealing with toxic people. So let's keep it real. We all have people in our lives that imbue like a lot of negative energy, especially over these last few years, because we've been so inundated with so much fear that fear turns into anxiety, it turns into worry, it turns into negativity, it turns into doomsday, it just turns into gloom and doom. And so many of us have, did I say doom? Is that a word? Anyway, so many of us have people in our lives that are so negative. They are so negative that we hate to see them coming and we are glad to see them leave. Or what about people who have kind of this passive aggressive energy. They're very negative, but they try to put it off as they're being positive, or they're just keeping it real, or they make these little remarks after they say some slick shit. They make these little remarks like, "Well, I'm just saying," or they try to pass it off like a joke, or I'm just kidding. I didn't mean it. No, you did mean it. So sometimes people, and the thing about it is, a lot of people don't even realize that they're being negative, that they're being toxic. They don't even are completely unaware of the energy that they're projecting out into the world. And that is the energy that they're feeling within them. And so it's very hard to always embody and take in a lot of negative energy. Where does this negative energy comes from? It comes from the food that we eat. It comes from the music that we listen to. It comes from the television that we watch. It comes from the news that we watch. It comes from surrounding ourselves with other negative people. It comes from negative messaging on social media. Like all of this. So all of this is energy that we're embodying and that we're integrating and ingesting. That is the word I'm looking for. This is what we're ingesting. And as we ingest this, we're not even aware of how it is alchemizing in our body and then projecting back out. And so we begin to project back out that negativity and those fears and that anxiety and anybody who will listen, anybody who is around us, we're projecting it and not even aware. So a lot of the toxic people that are in your life, they don't even know that they're being toxic. They don't even know that they're being negative. They're just expressing and projecting how they really feel inside. And so although it's problematic, you can't heal or change anything that you're unaware of. And that works both ways because a relationship is two-sided. And so we'll talk about that. So how about the most toxic person in your life, which tends to be you? It tends to be you when you create these narratives. Don't nobody like me. Everybody always out to get me. Or you're so quick, what she say about me, what he say about me, you don't know me like that. Was that directed at me? Was you talking to you that you're taking everything personal. Or you're always the victim. Why does this shit happen to me? Why can't I pay my bills? Why is this person doing this? So that energy too is very toxic. And that's when you're being toxic to yourself. And so I'm sure there are times where you listen to yourself. If not, you should pause, breathe, take a moment to listen to yourself. And then think like, oh my gosh, I'm getting on my own nerves. Like, why am I creating these narratives? Why am I creating these stories? Why am I immersing myself in this victimhood or victimization? Or, why am I doing this to myself? And these are the stories, I'll never get married or I can't stand these. These stories we began to tell ourselves and then we believe them and then we embody them and then we act out on them and we become those toxic people that other people hate to see coming and are ready to leave, ready for them to leave. We become that. And we don't even know it because we are establishing this toxic, imbalanced relationship with ourselves. And so that's what I want to build upon tonight. I want to talk about toxic relationships, what they are, and how we can begin to heal those relationships with ourselves and with others. Again, some of our most toxic relationships are with the people who we love the most, with our parents, with our children, with our partners, with close friends, even work colleagues. So these are people who we deal with on a daily basis. This is why it's so difficult for us to just want to simply go like, get the fuck out of my face, leave me, just fuck off. It's so hard to do that because these are people who we are in relationship with on a regular basis. And some of us feel like we don't have a choice. And so I want to talk about that. Well, I don't have a choice. This is my mom or my dad, or I don't have a choice. So I want to talk about that too, because even saying I don't have a choice comes from a place of empowerment. And in relationships, you always have a choice. You have a choice in terms of how you relate with and to others. And we'll talk about that. So, how can we begin to identify? Because that's the first thing. Sometimes we don't even know that we are entertaining toxic relationships. So, how can we identify the toxic relationships in our lives and then begin to understand the role that we play in engaging and maintaining these relationships? Again, we are not victims, and how do we begin the process to bring those relationships back into harmony? So that's what we're building on tonight. Greetings. I am Kimberly J., spiritual teacher, scholar, activist, master healing practitioner, and the founder of the Journey to Wholeness Center. And I am here this week again to hold a sacred space of healing for you, to empower you on your own unique journey to healing and wholeness. And I welcome you again to Wellness and Wisdom Wednesdays, Ask Kimberly J Live. And so, as we have been doing over the last few months, in this space, I want to begin with a brief grounding meditation. And in this meditation today, I'm going to invite you to envision, or rather visualize, the person or persons that you are currently experiencing a challenging relationship with. And we're going to work through that. It'll be a brief meditation, but it'll allow you to see how that person is affecting your physical body, because it's all energy. And so how that person is creating block stuck energy within you. So we'll do that in our grounding meditation. And so every week I share, not every week, it's been like every other week, right? So, but on a regular basis, let's say on a regular basis, I'm going to come on live and just share with you whatever wisdom teachings that I have. And again, they come from a lot of various inspirational moments that I have. Sometimes in meditation, I come up with teachings or topics, and sometimes it is stuff that I've researched or read or learned about during my research work and scholarship work, experiences that I have like in healing circles and with clients. And so, yeah, so I'll bring to you some of those wisdom teachings. And again, as we ground and as we open our hearts, I invite you to listen with an open mind and an open heart. And if anything resonates with you, or is anything that you want to share or questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat, or email me if it's personal and you want to talk about whatever is going on with you personally. I am an intuitive, and I often get messages from spirit that could assist you in just allowing you to go even deeper, in terms of your own wisdom and insight. So, with that said, let's get started. So, I'm going to invite you again, as I said, in a grounding meditation. I am a huge proponent of meditation because it allows you to see, feel, and sense within you. So very often we are inundated with all of the noise and the external distractions that we very rarely, throughout the day, throughout our weekends, throughout weeks, months at a time, we spend so much time externally that we don't get still enough to hear what is in alignment for us and what is true for us. What's our truth? The only way you're going to find your truth is to be able to go within. And so that is why I am such a huge proponent, of meditation. And so in this moment, I invite you to close your eyes, as long as you're not driving. And as you close your eyes, begin to allow yourself to travel within, drawing your awareness to your breath, allowing your breath to just settle your body, relaxing you, centering you, grounding you, allowing you to be very present in this moment. And now I invite you to take a deep breath in from the belly, bring it into your heart, hold it, and then softly exhaling it all out. Another deep breath in from the belly, holding it into your heart, and then softly exhaling it out. And one more deep breath in from the belly. Hold it in your heart, and then softly exhale it out. And now visualize a person, a place, or an experience that is currently challenging you. And as you visualize or envision this person or this place or this experience, pay attention to where you begin to feel constricted in your body, tightness, unease. And as you begin to feel that constriction, the tightness, the uneasiness, take a deep breath in and then softly breathe into that space as you affirm, I release you. You no longer have any power over me. Taking another deep breath in, hold it in your heart, and then softly exhaling it out. And so it is. Take a moment and allow yourself to come back into the space. I thank you for engaging in that brief meditation. I hope it was beneficial for you. And if there was anything that you want to write down, perhaps you got a message or you did feel constriction in a particular part of your body and you want to explore that a little bit more, then go ahead and write it down. Take a moment and write it down so you can revisit it at a later time or even revisit it as we continue this conversation. That felt good. It really did. I'm still zenned out, right? So this evening, I want to build upon toxic relationships and how we can begin the work to heal them. And so first, let me define a few concepts when I talk about toxic relationships so we can all be on the same page in terms of what I mean. So a relationship is a physical and or energetic connection to ourselves, to other humans, to nature, to animals, to stars, to sun, moon, planet, earth, everything. You can be in relationship to and with everything. And as a human being, our entire existence is built upon being in relationship. And so now let's talk about right relationship. So, right relationship is honoring and deeming sacred the fact that we are all interconnected and we are all interrelated. And as such, there is an element of mutuality and or reciprocity that must be present in all relationships that keep them in balance and keep them in harmony. There's an energetic exchange, a dance, a rhythm that goes back and forth between everyone and everything that we're in relationship with. And it's not rooted in control. It's not rooted in hierarchy. It's not rooted in power. It's not rooted in power over. It's not even rooted in in measuring, you know, we in a 50-50, we got to have a 50-50 partnership or a 50-50 relationship, or relationships don't work like that. Very rarely are you going to be in relationship with anybody or anything that's 50-50, or or you do this and then I do that and you do this. That is not a harmonious relationship. A harmonious relationship, it just flows. It just is. It moves. There's an ebb and there's a flow. There's a mutual exchange of energy. So think about the relationship that we have to nature. Think about the relationship that we have to trees and to plants. They give off oxygen, that of which we need, and we give them back carbon dioxide, that of which they need. I think that's how it goes. If I can remember biology, right? It's been a while. Relationship with the our relationship with food, our relationship with non-human nature. We need nature, we need plant life, we need animals for food and to survive. And it has to be balanced. Those relationships, being in right relationship, mean that those relationships are harmonious and balanced. And again, I'm not talking balance 50-50 give and take. Think about your relationships with your children if you're a parent, or think about your relationship with your parent as a child. Those relationships, the power dynamics of those relationships dictate kind of who does what and how, etc. But energetically, there's a mutual exchange. For all that I give to my sons, I receive back. And it may not be tangibles. It may not be money, or them paying bills and financially, but energetically, as much as I pour into them, I receive back. Even just their presence, even their smile, their energy, and so relationships, regardless of hierarchy or power dynamics, there's a flow, a balance, an integration, an enmeshment of energy that happens. And so these concepts are ancient, and these are indigenous concepts of being in right relationships. Indigenous cultures always talk about everything is predicated on being in right relationship. And so you don't extract and take things without seeking permission, without expressing gratitude, and without giving back. That is what creates the imbalances. That is what creates resentment. That is what creates anger. That is what creates power over. That is what creates hierarchies. All of that kind of stuff is imbalance and not being in right relationship, because you're not honoring the energetic exchange, the reciprocity of energy between whatever it is that you're in relationship with. So that brings me to toxic relationships. So what are toxic relationships? So toxic relationships are imbalance. They are inharmonious. They don't respect or honor boundaries. They are verbally, mentally, emotionally, physically abusive. Toxic relationships, they only extract, they only take, they're one sided. It's like that friend or that partner that only wants you to be there for them, but or only calls you when they got something going on. I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me. I need you. I need you. I need you. But don't offer to pour back in any way, shape, or form into your relationship, into you. Where it's always they need. So that's imbalance. That creates imbalances, and that's a toxic relationship. you know even giving of your emotional labor. If you're always there, if you're always picking up the pieces for a particular person, even our children, it builds up resentment. And so that's why we have to teach them to be balanced, to be emotional available, to strengthen their ability to handle and deal with their emotions, so they don't all of their lives just continue to extract. Okay. And so toxic relationships are rooted in control. They're rooted in manipulation, possession, and fear. Toxic relationships can be rooted in shame and guilt. They're dishonest. And they also can be rooted in abandonment, trauma, or grief. Sometimes we share abandonment, trauma, grief, and we think that this should be the foundation. We have shared experiences, and we think this should be foundational for our relationships. So some of our relationships are rooted in that, and it creates a toxicity. It creates imbalance. And so keep in mind, all relationships are by choice. And I know that's a lot. And I know, we need to kind of sit with that, but every relationship is by choice. Even the familial or the family relationships, those are by choice. And a lot of people say, well, I can't help who I was born to. I was born into this family, but you get to choose how to be in relationship with them, especially as you move from childhood to adulthood. You get to choose how to be in relationship, even with your family. And sometimes relationships are rooted in spiritual choice. And so sometimes we don't even know. We know that there is some type of connection to this person, but we don't know how or why. And those spiritual choices, relationships that we are not really consciously aware of as of yet, and a lot of those are family relationships as well, is that the spiritual relationships or the choices that we make in terms of spiritual choice are rooted in higher purpose or lessons that need to be learned, blessings, past life experiences or lessons or things that past life completion is what I say, when you haven't finished there, you're it's going on into another lifetime. And so there are more lessons or blessings or experiences that you need to have with this person. And so although you may not be consciously aware of the choice that you made, it's a spiritual choice. Or relationships can be a physical choice where you are consciously attracted to somebody, or you consciously are aware or connected to this person. You consciously are creating this relationship, or you're consciously fueling or feeding this relationship. And so our relationships, all of our relationships, reflect back to us aspects of ourselves, which goes back to that concept of us being interrelated and interconnected. And so again, you get to choose how to be in relationship with others. But first, you must cultivate a healthy relationship with yourself. That is your most primal relationship, is your relationship with yourself. And it dictates all of your other relationships. And so let me give you an example of that. If you're struggling with validating yourself, you'll find that you attract others who don't validate you as well, because this is an energy that you're embodying, that you're exuding out, and people are picking up on it. And if you're not validating yourself, nor will they. And you find yourself immersed in relationship with more people who don't validate you. If you feel insecure or unworthy, please believe that you're going to attract others that's going to validate that for you. That's going to confirm your insecurity and assist in making you feel unworthy. So you attract aspects of yourself that you end up radiating out into the world. And so this is why you have to be mindful and begin the work to cultivate a healthy relationship within you so you can exude and radiate that same type of energy externally and attract those types of people to you. And again, I'm not just talking love relationships, I'm talking about friendships, romantic relationships, work relationships, colleague relationships, everything, all relationships. The relationship again that you have with nature. Cultivating a relationship with nature, which helps you feel even more energetically connected, even more spiritually connected. And so all of those are very, very important as they are all aspects of ourselves. And so let me go back to toxic relationships. So, what are some ways that you can begin to heal toxic relationships? And first and foremost, I cannot say this enough. You have to start with yourself. Like, really, you got to do that hard work to go within. Find out where you're not feeling worthy. Find out and explore where you are dealing with abandonment issues, where you are dealing with feelings of insecurity, where you are dealing with feelings of scarcity and lack. And I talked about that a lot a couple of weeks ago in developing a relationship with money. A lot of our relationships with money are rooted in scarcity and lack, even when we have it. And so we got to dig deeper in establishing and acknowledging the types of relationships that we're attracting to ourselves and why and how. How do we? How do we do that? We have to consciously do that work. And so, number two, first of all, start with self. Second, establish healthy boundaries. So many of us have so many problems with setting healthy boundaries. And again, that's rooted in our inability to establish a healthy relationship with ourselves. And so we tend to not have boundaries. And then when people cross those boundaries, we either allow them to, we become the doormat, or we become woe is me, everybody doing this to me, or this is, or we become like this walking billboard for health issues because we let everybody shit on us. We let everybody extract from us until there's nothing left for us to give. And then we start suffering internally. We start suffering emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. And so that's why it's so very important to heal toxic relationships. Number one, start with self. Number two, establish healthy boundaries. That's mandatory. People are not going to just respect imaginary boundaries. People are not going to just respect boundaries that you don't create and enforce. Very important. The third one, know and speak your truth. So many of us don't speak our truth for fear of being judged, for fear of being wrong, for fear of not knowing, for fear of being silenced. And a lot of that really starts in childhood. That's where we begin to learn how to silence our voices because we have authoritarian parents who tell us what a child's place is and what's proper to say and what's not proper to say, and stop all of that crying and stop being emotional and stop daydreaming and stop doing this and stop doing that. And so children begin to shut down. We begin to shut down that throat chakra and our ability to speak our truth, to know our truth and to speak our truth. So that's the third thing. Know and speak your truth. Do that work to be able to cultivate that inner knowing of self and then stand in it and be able to be it, to speak it, to live it. And the fourth thing, divest completely from toxic relationships. Don't be afraid to sever toxic Relationships. Relationships that are making you sick, relationships that don't honor your boundaries, relationships that are one sided. Do not be afraid to sever those relationships. And if you are not going to sever those relationships, you have to consciously shift the dynamics of those relationships. Take your power back and put that relationship back in harmony or in balance. And if you can't do that, again, it's time to sever that relationship. So that becomes your work. If you're in relationship with a parent, you're in relationship with a child, you're in relationship with a partner, anybody that is overwhelmingly and increasingly toxic for you, it's your work to put that relationship back in some type of harmony or balance. It's your work to establish boundaries, to harmonize and balance out that relationship. You don't have to just sit in it and just fester in it and just remain in a state of resentment, remain in a state of anger, remain in a state of judgment. You don't have to do that. You get to choose how to be in relationship with everybody, any and everybody that you are connected to. And so, again, relationships, I get it. They are messy. They are so messy. They are so complicated. They are so complex, yet they are our greatest teachers. And through relationships, we get to experience all of these various aspects of ourselves that we know and love, and aspects of ourselves that are in pain and need some healing. And so every relationship in that manner is divine, no matter how difficult. Each one of our relationships do carry some type of medicine for us, some type of wisdom, some type of healing that we can integrate into our own lived experiences, into our mind, body, and spirit. And I challenge you all, just take some time and just sit with some of your more complicated relationships and see if you can find the wisdom, the medicine, the lesson, and the blessing of that relationship. That would be so therapeutic if you can do that. Even past relationships, even people that you've had to cut ties with, it would be a very healing experience to sit with that and see if you can find the medicine or the wisdom of that relationship. So that's it. So I want to open it up now. I'm going to check the discussion box just to see if anyone has questions live. Oh, hi, Teresa. Hi, Pinky. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can go to the page and see more of the comments. Oh, shoot. I hate when I do that. The volume was up. Hi, everybody who have joined. So I'll open it up for questions or thoughts or feedback. I love you too, cuz thank you for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome. Relationships. Yeah, they are so they are so complicated. And I'm not and I want to be clear that I'm not speaking from a place of judgment and a place where I've had like the most perfect relationships. Relationships Every relationship is challenging. I just spent a summer, just this summer, with my sons here, and yeah, we've had some tough conversations, some difficult moments where I had to go within and say, okay, why am I attracting this dissonance? What is it that I'm not doing? And, like, no, you're not establishing healthy boundaries. You're not holding your adult sons to account for the decisions that they're making. You're still trying to coddle them. You're still trying to protect them. You're still, so all of these things or these conversations, I like to say that conversations and coaching and things that we all need. I'm not above having difficult relationships, very difficult relationships. But again, the way that you heal the toxic relationships is you find out, you go within, you get to the heart of what you're doing, how you're feeding it, how you're embedding that relationship, how the fuel, the fire that you're feeding to that relationship, you know, because the relationship begins with you. And if you're attracting these complicated, complex situations and relationships, you're going to have to unpack what's going on inside of you that you're having these experiences. So that's all I'm saying. This information. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Teresa. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you can relate. Yes. And so, again, if anybody wants to continue this conversation or something has been triggered in you and you want more clarity or guidance, please, please, please reach out to me. Even if you're watching the rebroadcast, just send me a quick message, put it in the comments. I do check the comments after the broadcast, or you can always email me personally, kdavis@journeytowholeness.org, or check my website, journeytowholeness.org, and I will put all of that in the video description. Also, I want to let you know that I did just create, like I said, I had this conversation within Healing Circle on Sunday, and it prompted me to create a meditation for healing toxic relationships. So you can find that meditation in the Journey to Mindfulness Library. I'll be posting it in that library tomorrow. So I'll also put the link there, and then you can go to the library and check out that meditation along with a whole slew of other meditations. Again, you have to consciously work on your relationships. You really do. There is no magic wand, and it is no like, well, this person is supposed to know how I feel, or this person is supposed to respect my boundaries, or this. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. You have to use your voice. You have to consciously do the work in order to create, maintain, and establish relationships that honor you, that are worthy of you, relationships that validate you, that affirm you. So you have to do that work, and it starts from within. And so, thank you. Thank you all for sharing this space with me. I am sending you love and blessings. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Please, again, any questions, comments, post them. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I love you all. Talk to you later.